Hi everyone, my name is Beth. I'm a librarian at the Wyenberg Library in Mequon. Today I want to take you through 3 of our databases that are available both at the library and at home with a Wyenberg Library card. So from our website, flwlib.org, if you mouse over e-services, you'll see a lot of databases, but the 3 I want to talk about today are Consumer Reports, Value Line, and AtoZ Databases, which are all listed under this Business and Finance section. So I'm going to start us off with Consumer Reports. When I click on it, I'm taken to a page still on our website with a description of what Consumer Reports is. And then to finally get there, I'll click on Access Consumer Reports near the bottom of the screen. Now I'm being taken to a sign-in page where I'm being asked for my library card number, which I'll enter without the spaces, even though it's printed on the back of my card with spaces. Once I enter my card and click Sign In, I get taken to a list of databases under this EBSCO umbrella, and the first one is the one I want, consumerreports.org. So I'm going to click on that. And then after a moment of loading, I finally land on the Consumer Reports homepage. So this homepage will show you some of the newest articles and information that Consumer Reports has posted. You can see some of the products that they recommend that you look at, some information about keeping your data secure, some news about various things, buying guides, the best deals, best time to buy. So if you're just here to find out about the buying world in general, this homepage is a good place to start. But, of course, you can also browse for and search for specific products or types of products that you want specific information about. Now, to browse for information, you can mouse over Product Reviews near the top of the screen. And that, by default, shows you some top product categories like appliances, and the most popular ones in that category, cars, health, money, home and garden, electronics, and babies and kids. You can click on any of these categories or any of these products to see more about them. Or on the left here, you can mouse over the specific categories and see more options. Or if you just want to see everything that's available, you can click on All Products A to Z to get a full list of what Consumer Reports has reviewed before. So that's how you browse. Now, if you know what you're looking for and you don't want to worry about going through the product reviews section to find it, you can click into the search bar near the top of the screen here and type it in directly. So for example, let's say that I am interested in buying a new air conditioner. I'm going to type in air, and right away I get a drop-down menu of some potential match options. Air conditioners is what I want, so I can go ahead and click on it, or I could keep typing till I finished writing air conditioners and then click search. Either way, whether I clicked on air conditioners or finished the search, I get taken to this final page. So right at the top here, I can see some air conditioner ratings. I would choose between window air conditioners versus portable air conditioners to see the specific ratings of different brands and different makes and models. I can read the Consumer Reports buying guide. I can watch videos about how to choose an air conditioner, how to install it, how best to use it. I can see a list of recommended conditioners by toggling through them, clicking on each of them, or even seeing all of them at once. And then at the very bottom of the screen is some generic appliance news. It's probably not going to be very relevant to what you're searching for, but it's here. Now, to see the full list of conditioners that have been reviewed by Consumer Reports over the years, I would click on whichever category best suits what I'm looking for. So let's say I want a new window unit. I'm going to click on that section here. And then this is the ratings and reliability page on Consumer Reports for specific air conditioners. Right near the top of the screen, I have a bunch of drop-down menus. If I click on any of these, I can change the type that I'm looking at. I can narrow down by categories, in this case by the square footage of how much this particular air conditioner can cool, if I'm looking to cool a smaller room versus a larger room. I can narrow by price, different brands, which of the options is most important to me, and some other wider filters as well. Now I don't have to filter by any of these options. I can just look at the full list of results for air conditioners, which is, there's 33 items here. And they've already sorted them into different categories. So we have a list right at the top here first of the air conditioners that can cool 100 to 300 square foot rooms. There's 16 options there. They're sorted by the score that Consumer Reports has given them. And that is based on these different features and functionalities and information that they discovered through their own testing, through reviews from users and things like that. If I want to compare any of the items in this list to each other, I can click on the plus symbol to the left of one of them and say Add to Compare. I can also click on it again to remove it from Compare. If I scroll back up to the top of the screen, I'll notice this Compare button is marked with the number 4. That's because I've clicked the plus symbol beside 4 of the window units listed here. These 4 with the green check marks. Now if I click on Compare, I could say View Compare, and then I can see them side by side based on survey results from various owners, test results conducted by Consumer Reports, and the various features and options offered in each make and model. If I click on Ratings and Reliability and then Window Conditioners, I can get back to the full list. If I want to look at one air conditioner in particular, so if this Frigidaire looks like one that might suit my needs, I can click on it. And clicking on it takes me to a more specific page about just that air conditioner. So I can see the price, I can look at user reviews, I can see the ratings scorecard based on Consumer Reports' experience with this particular air conditioner. I can see reliability and satisfaction ratings, more specific features and specs, and if I click on price and shop, I can even see where I might be able to buy this particular unit. So this is the most useful thing that Consumer Reports offers, is this ability to look at reviews and buying guides about different products and try to decide between all of the different options out there. You can, of course, if you prefer, come into the library and look at the Consumer Reports magazine or the Consumer Reports buying guide, but neither of those is necessarily going to have what you're looking for. The nice thing about this, the Consumer Reports database, is that even if Consumer Reports hasn't recently issued an article about a particular product, you can still find their old reviews about that product right here on the database. And you don't even have to go anywhere to do that. You can do it right from home if you have a computer or a smartphone or a tablet. Again, Consumer Reports is accessible both in the library and outside of it as long as you have a Weinberg Library card. So that's Consumer Reports. Next, I'd like to talk about Value Line. So again, I'm going to mouse over E-Services, go under Business and Finance, and click on Value Line. Again, I'm taken to a page that discusses the website in some more detail. And then down here at the bottom of the screen, I'm going to click on Start Using Value Line. Once again, I'm being prompted to put in my library card number, which I'll go ahead and do. And then once I click Login, I get taken to the Value Line database proper. So right away I'm dropped onto the dashboard. The dashboard has commentaries about the stock market day by day. So you can say read more on any of these assessments to get daily updates about the market. You can also click on Markets in the menu near the top of the screen here to see more commentaries and some industry reports and other details and data. And you can click on Investment Education to read articles or watch videos to learn more about how best to manage your investments. And then, of course, you can look up specific companies by their name or by their symbol by clicking into this search bar beside the word quote. So the example I like to use is Google. The tricky part about some companies, like Google, is if you type in the full name, you won't get any matches because Google is actually owned by Alphabet Inc. So if I type in Alphabet, I get matches. Or I could type in the company's symbol, which would be GOOGL or GOOG. Either way, I get a drop-down menu where I can choose the result that I'm looking for. And once I click on it, I'm taken to a page with some more information about that particular company, how they're looking today, how they've looked in the past few days, in the past few months, in the past few years, and I can track their progress in the past and based on that, presumably try to guess how they'll turn out over the next several weeks, several months, several years. There's lots of data in here. I won't pretend to understand most of it, but if you have investments that you're tracking, Value Line can be a useful place to take a look at what you're working with and make some decisions about whether or not to stick with it or try something new. Again, Value Line, just like Consumer Reports, is accessible both inside the library and outside of it. You need to have a YMBR library card to use it. We've been told by Value Line, although we've never run into this ourselves, that there is a 2-person limit on the database at any given time. So basically they have 2 seats open. So if you and one other person are looking at Value Line, you should be fine. But if 2 people are already looking at it, you may run into an error screen letting you know that there's not enough room for you and you'll need to check back later. Again, we've never actually run into that issue that we know of. No one's ever come up and told us that they've been blocked out because someone else was using it or 2 other people were using it. So it's likely that you'll be fine. But just keep in mind, if you run into an error screen, it's likely because other folks are using it right now. Just give it a little while and come back and try again. Of course, if you run into an error screen and it won't go away, then let us know so we can follow up and see what's happening. So that's Consumer Reports and Value Line. Last but not least, I'd like to talk about AtoZ Databases. So, mousing over eServices, clicking on AtoZ Databases right here under Business and Finance. Again, I get taken to a page that describes the database. If I'm inside the library, I can click on Access from inside the library. Otherwise, you'd say outside the library, and then you'd be prompted to put in your library card number, just like with Value Line and Consumer Reports. So in AtoZ Databases, you can search for businesses, jobs, people, healthcare professionals, all kinds of different things. So the way that this works is AtoZ Databases purchases lists of names and information, phone numbers, addresses from places like magazine subscribers, Target, Walmart, various places that collect your information when you sign up for a particular service with them. Will then sell that information on to advertisers, but also to places like AtoZ Databases, which then compiles that information for you and others to see yourself. They compile it across many, many different categories. One of those is businesses. So if you know the name of a business and roughly where it is, or some other details about it, if you click on Advanced Search, you can look for it here and see some information about it. So as an example, I'm going to search for the Fermentorium, which I know is in Cedarburg. And as I start typing it, I get a drop down to prompt me which one I want, and I do want Cedarburg, not Cedar Bluff. And I know it's in Wisconsin. And now that I've put in those details, I can click search. You don't always have to put in the city or the state, but it helps to have the name. Otherwise, you're going to cast a very, very wide net. And this is what the search results look like. Depending on the name of the business, you may get multiple results. Depending on how specific you were about its location, you may get multiple results. But in this case, there's only one Fermentorium. It's at this address in Cedarburg. I have their phone number here, an estimation of their revenue, and the name presumably of their founder. Now if I click on the name, I can see even more about it. So AtoZ Databases tries to gauge some information about the health of the business. In some cases, you'll be able to see their hours of operation. You'll see similar businesses nearby, as well as just all of the businesses nearby. Some estimated annual expenditures. Here's Chris Volkman, he's apparently the president, as well as data trends and other details. Most of the time, my guess is that for most of our patrons, you would be searching for a business to try to find its address or its phone number if you couldn't find it online elsewhere. So that information is right up here. But if for some reason you're analyzing the businesses in an area, the businesses as part of an industry, you can see a lot of details through AtoZ Databases this way. The next category that you can search in AtoZ Databases is for jobs. So what AtoZ Databases does in this case is it compiles information from a bunch of different job search websites like Indeed, some professional industry websites, and places like that. So in this case, you would put in the name of the job that you're looking for. Let's say I'd like to be an administrative assistant. And I'm going to say that I'm in Mequon, Wisconsin. And then in this drop-down menu, I can specify if I want to work full-time, part-time, or as an internship. So I'm going to click on all and choose full-time and then search. And finally, here is the list of results. So I can see the name of the job, what company it's at, where it is in the state, and when it was posted. I also have the option of clicking on View All Jobs in that particular company or industry. So if I looked at the Milwaukee School of Engineering and said that I thought that seemed like an interesting place to work, I could go ahead and click View All and see what else they're offering and who else they're looking for. If I was interested in a particular job, I could go ahead and click on the title, and I'll be taken out to the place that the job was originally posted. So in this case, the Milwaukee School of Engineering posted this administrative assistant job to Indeed.com, and now I can see the full description. I can apply now or find out how to apply through Indeed rather than through AtoZ Databases. So AtoZ Databases collects all of these listings, and then you get taken out to the actual site or the actual place you need to be to apply to the job once you click on it. And then finally, you can also use AtoZ Databases to try to find a person. Not everyone is going to be in here because, again, this is all based on information that AtoZ Databases gleans from places that collect information about people. So if the person you're searching for has never had like a Target credit card, or if they haven't had one in a very long time, they're probably not going to be in here, or they might be here, but their information won't be accurate. It all depends on what sort of life they've been living. But it's always worth a shot. So you could type in their name, you can specify where they live if you know that, or you can click on advanced search to put in other details about them, as much as you know, to try to narrow things down. In this case, I'm going to search for John Doe. I know that he's not a business executive, or at least I think he's not. He's a resident of, we'll say, the state of Wisconsin, just to narrow it down a little bit. I'm going to click search. There are no John Does in the state of Wisconsin. Good to know, or at least none that are in AtoZ Databases. So if I click close, then I can click on state again, and let's just look at all. Let's see, every state in the country. See if we can find a John Doe. So I have 151 results. AtoZ Databases tries to cast a nice wide net for you. So it looks for people with the last name Doe, Does. We'll probably see a couple other spellings in here, as well as the first name, John, like I spelled it, but also John, Jon. It tells me their address, at least as far as it knows, and it tries to tell me their phone number. It doesn't always have a phone number for everyone, so if you're searching for someone to be able to call them, you may or may not actually find a number for them. But if they're in here, you'll almost certainly find an address, and then at least you could write them a letter or contact them in some other way. By clicking on any of these categories, I can sort the list by that category. So if I wanted to just see whoever Does in a particular city, I could click on City State, and now they'll be sorted alphabetically by the city that they live in. So I can see Gloria Jean Doe lives in Allendale, South Carolina. If I was looking for a John Doe something in Buffalo, New York, I could jump down to the B's, find Buffalo, and look. Oh, I've got Jonathan Doing and Jackie Doe. I don't see John Doe. So these are not the people that I wanted, unfortunately. But if one of these people in this list was the person I wanted, if it turned out I was looking for the John Doe living in Bowie, Maryland, for example, I have most of the information I need about him right here. I have his address and I have his phone number. But if I click on his name, I can see a little bit more about him. I can see his neighbors. I can see about how long he's lived where he lives in Bowie. And then in some cases it'll tell me his age. Again, it all depends on where AtoZ Databases got this information from. And I can also see their best guess at his estimated income, the market value of his house, based on the census and the median income from the 2010 census and the home value of the 2010 census. So that is how to search for people in AtoZ Databases. Again, just like with businesses, I would imagine that most folks are going to use this to look for people and find their addresses, find their phone numbers, to follow up with someone that maybe they've lost touch with. But again, if you're doing some kind of marketing, if you want to do a mass mail or contact folks, this can be a useful way to find contact information and extend your network that way. So that is AtoZ Databases. And again, just like with Value Line, just like with Consumer Reports, as long as you have a Weinberg library card, you can access this both at home and in the library itself. And that is it. That is my whole spiel. As always, there is a handout linked in the description below. Please feel free to take a look at it. If you have questions, feel free to follow up with me. My contact information is on the handout. I will see you right back here the first week of November. We'll be revisiting smartphone basics. See you then.